Okay, what I've done is put in the flour, sugar, salt, a little bit of shortening, and yeast. And now I'm just going to turn it on low just to kind of get all this stuff blended up. Okay, now it is sufficiently mixed, and I have a little bit of warm water, and I'll put the recipe down there for you. And so I'm just going to put a little bit of this in and let it start to mix. And I'm going to let the dough hook do its job. And you probably want to catch your spatula and not, absolutely not, when it is running, just kind of push the flour away from, let me see if I can do it from behind, away from the sides, the edges of the bowl. And then I'm going to turn that back on. Let it run for a little bit longer. So let me see if I can let you peek in and see a little bit more of what it's doing. And yeah, it's starting to mix it up into a nice ball of dough. So I'm going to put the rest of my water in. Let that get all nicely mixed up. And once again, we're letting the dough hook do all the work. So I'm going to go ahead and put in the remaining water. And I'm going to cut it off again because I don't want to stick my spatula in there with that dough hook running. At least I should get it all tangled up in there. But I'm just pushing everything away from the sides of the bowl so it'll be well mixed. Just going to wipe that off there. And now I'm going to put in the rest of, I'm going to put in some more flour. About another cup. And I think I have 3 more cups to do. That's 1 more. 2 more. And 3 more cups of flour. Get all that in there. So this is going to make about 2 loaves of bread, whole wheat. And we're just going to keep mixing that. Let it do its thing. I'm going to turn the beater up a little bit more. And as you can see, it's starting to pull all the excess dough away from the sides of the bowl. But I want to help it out a little bit. So I'm just going to scrape the sides of the bowl with my spatula and make sure everything gets all mixed up in there really, really well. So, oh, the dough's starting to feel really nice. It's got a good texture to it. We'll let that go for a little bit longer until the dough is springy and pulls away completely from the edges of the bowl. Gonna crank it up a little bit just to make sure it ends up being in one nice ball of dough that'll be real easy to handle. Yep, it's doing its doughy thing. So also, instead of me kneading it, I'm letting the dough hook do its thing. Give it a few more minutes till it's nice and springy, till all the dough has pulled away from the sides. Almost there. And if you look in there, you will see basically all the flour has now pulled away from the side. So what we're really doing is just letting the dough hook and the machine do all the work for you. So that's just about ready. I'm gonna give it a little more whirl. Because you want it to be springy and spongy when it comes out of here. And then you know you beat it to death. Oh yeah, it's working overtime now. So, I'm going to turn that off. And as you can see, it's nice and springy. But I'm going to put some flour on my hands so that when I lift it out, it doesn't stick to me and everywhere else. And then I have a bowl that I've already put some butter in, and I'm going to put it in there. Remember, I want to have some flour on my hands, so probably the easiest way. Let me take the dough hook out first. And see, that comes out nice and clean. Set that aside. We'll just lift this off. This, I'll actually just move out of the way. And I've got my bowl, which is nicely buttered. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is take the ball of dough. Remember, good to have some flour on your hands when you're handling it. And I'm just going to put it out, put it into the grease bowl, and then we're going to let it sit and rise for about an hour. You see, it's nice. See, it's with the flour on my hands, it's not really sticking to my hands. It's nice and springy when you spring back into it. Now I'm going to put it in here. I want to roll it around a bit in the bowl to catch some of the butter on the sides. A little bit of the flour. Then what we're going to do, we're just going to leave it in the bowl. But we're going to cover it with some plastic wrap. And this will be just to keep it from any drafts, because yeast doesn't like to get cold. So then we're just going to set this aside, and we're going to let it rise for about an hour, and then we'll come back to it. As you can see, we put the bread in, and it doubled in size. So I'm just going to go ahead and push it down. Just give it a little punch. Push it down in the middle, and I'm going to take it up out of here. Now, I'm going to make 2 loaves of bread out of this. So I'm just actually going to pinch it in half. And I have a glass loaf pan, and I have a metal loaf pan, which might be a little hard to see because it's blended in. And I'm just going to take it. Don't want to handle it too much. And I'm just going to press it out into the shape of the loaf pan. And then you're going to set this down to rest for a little bit more time. Going to do this one as well. Just press it into a nice loaf shape. All these little lumpy dumpies will even themselves out when it's busy rising. So as you can see, not much difference. Then I'm going to take a little bit of melted butter and just kind of spread it over the top of each. And now we're going to let this rise for about another half hour or so. Okay. All right, we're going to cover that, let it rise. Okay, now the bread has doubled in size, and we're going to go ahead and take the plastic wrap off in a minute, actually, and go ahead and bake it in the oven and see what we get. As you can see, our bread turned out really, really nice. Now, I'm not going to say this is my perfect attempt at making bread, but it's got a real good quality, as you can see. You know, it's got the right texture. It didn't brown as much as I wanted to, but that might have been because I didn't put any butter on the top. But it came out really, really nice. And that was the loaf that was baked in the glass pan. And then here's the loaf that was baked in the metal pan. And they both look just about the same, identical. And they're really tasty. So this is my first attempt in the last couple of years at making homemade bread. So I'm probably gonna make some more, and I'll be sure to share that with you. So thanks for watching, and have a great day. Bye.